whoa, 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 yeah, we are in the place to be. Yeah, 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 yeah,
We should just keep this running all morning. Don't even talk.
That's right.
The instrumental version of Positive Tuesday.
We have a theme song, I guess. Now.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. It's Positive Tuesday today, March 9th, 2021. Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald, I'm Ben Dryden, and you're watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by ICAA. ICAA is your local social service organization that works together with individuals, families, and the community to create and support local solutions for local needs. Their goal is to help remove barriers so people can access resources, education, and services to increase financial security. For a full list of services, find them on Facebook or check them out on their website at indianheadcaa.org. Fitzy, it's a beautiful morning. The sun is out. Snow's melting. Daylight saving time this Sunday. A lot to be positive about this morning.
Yeah, this is easy today. This is easy Positive Tuesday, man. The sun is out. It's going to be 60 degrees. I can see grass. I mean, it's going to be pretty good. I mean, this isn't going to last forever, but we'll probably get some more snow and it'll get colder again.
Whoa, that's not very positive.
Yeah. We got to be positive but real. It's only
fair.
March 9th.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of daylight saving time, I had asked yesterday on our Facebook when we put that post up just about reminding people to change their clocks, and it was this weekend because I felt like it was like a month or two away from me, actually. I didn't know it was this soon. But I asked, since we're going to be losing an hour of sunlight in the morning, would you rather have an extra hour of sunlight in the morning or an extra hour of sunlight in the evening? Which would you take?
I would take the evening.
Yeah, that's what everybody said. I'm in the minority. I think because I get up so early.
Right.
When you're 4, then you're up for, 3 hours, and the sun still isn't even up yet. No, I'd rather have early morning sunlight.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hey, so so obviously we couldn't do a show last week right before, and we can talk about that a little bit in a bit. But now it's been 2 weeks. What's new with you?
I really thought you'd just do a show without me, and you could just talk to yourself. And,
Yeah.
I wasn't even here, so or I was here maybe.
Yeah. You could just send a picture, and we'll just put it up on the days that you're not on, and we'll
just freeze me and save it. No, we couldn't be here because of a case. We'll get into that in just a little bit. But other than that, not much. Just enjoyed the weather last weekend. It's starting to pick up a little bit here at work. And other than that, I don't know much. Personally, nothing. My kid turned 16 on Saturday, so I've been car shopping a little bit.
Oh.
Yeah.
So how does that work in your house? Is it what kind of, does he have to pay half? Are you paying all of it? How does that work?
Well, I have to be fair with my daughter, and I'm probably paying for most of it.
Oh, you're a good dad.
Yeah. We'll see. He doesn't get to pick out the car, though, so if he wants to add to that.
Sure, yeah. I'll pay for most of your $300 car. Hey, I've got some breaking news.
You do?
Yes, I do. Hold on. This got sent to me from Romaine Quinn right before we went on. I can't put the picture up, but there's a picture of his baby. They had their child.
Oh, sweet. Congratulations, Romaine.
Yeah. And it says, where is it? Went in last night for a checkup. Turns out we couldn't leave. The name is Romaine Daniel Quinn. Made his way out at 4 o'clock this morning.
Awesome. Wow,
8.5 pounds, 20.5 inches long. Yeah, so I guess they're keeping that tradition going of naming him Romaine because it's his dad.
Grandpa?
Yeah, right. So, geez.
Well, that's congratulations, and glad everybody's doing great, and wonderful to that he's still part of our community and involved and talks to both of us, and still wants to make a difference, and it's great. It's awesome for Romaine and his family, and just what he wanted to get out of politics and start a family, and that was his goal, and so congratulations with that.
Now, just on a side note, I'm not convinced he's staying out of politics. because now
Well,
that he's had
someday
the
he'll have to
baby.
be a guest on the Positive
Yeah,
Tuesday.
I'm just saying. I don't know if he's ruled that out. He's never said anything, but I don't know. I mean, now he's making more babies to probably run for office too. There's going to be
That's
a whole
right.
bunch of Romaine Quinns in office.
We'll have a bunch of rooming. Then never have to change the sign. Then see,
Brilliant.
it's
That's
brilliant.
yeah.
Really, this is a $4,000 savings because we don't have to change the sign. So
Okay, so this is going off the rails quickly.
yeah,
So
we
let's get
lost our viewership. No.
yeah. So obviously last Tuesday we couldn't do a show. You had something going on. Tell us what that was about.
Sure. Last Tuesday, our SWAT team was used to execute a search warrant on a child porn arrest, and a subject was trafficking. I don't want to say trafficking, that might be, but had child porn images that we intercepted through about a month-long investigation, and we made an arrest in that case that morning, and that's why he couldn't. That's why I couldn't be here as part of our SWAT team and leading that. We wanted to make sure that went smooth and everybody went home safe.
Yeah. Just real quick, someone had put up that heard he's running for a township board. See, that's another sign because I heard that too. He's good at it. It's what he's always done. But anyway,
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
back
I think
to
he is running for township board. So
yeah. Um, so when did this all kind of start? I mean, obviously you can't get into details. It's an investigation. There's obviously a lot to that. But can you at least kind of give us a how does this stuff work when you get these kinds of calls? Because you've had calls before and you've had officer or deputies out doing things when we've done a show. Why is this one of those? Okay, I can't do a show. I've got to be present.
well, I think the seriousness of it, when you look at a case like this, and people say, "Wow, it was just arresting a guy who had computer images," whatever the images are of. Why would you use the SWAT team for that? And I guess that I would like to throw the question out to you, Ben. When do you think when do you think we should use the SWAT team? Or, that's a good question because of everything going on in the world. People don't like some of the militarization of police, and while I don't think we have that, we do have the equipment to make sure our people go home at the end of the day, and that's the main goal. So that's the main question. Besides the case itself and the images, which is wrong, the question I got asked is, why did you use your SWAT team?
All right, so when do I think you? Well, I think anything with a gun, right? I mean, that's just got to be kind of I don't know if there's like a set criteria. If it checks all these boxes, the SWAT team goes or not. If it's scenario based, then that's something you can get into. But I would think anything with a gun, SWAT team should probably automatically get called out. That's just my guess. Or or maybe even a knife too. So I guess not. So if they have a weapon and they're going to harm someone else, I don't know if it's something where if they harm themselves. Boy, I don't know. Anything with a weapon, I'm pretty sure that's when a SWAT team get called out. Other than that, I don't think there's one universal thing that I can think of. So that is interesting. This is a child porn case or investigation in a search warrant. Yeah, that probably isn't something I would normally think SWAT team get called out to do.
Right, and times are changing. If you look just a month ago when the two FBI agents were killed in Florida, that was a very similar warrant to that. So we took that into account. Now there's no book where we read, oh well, if they've been arrested 2 times, then we use the SWAT team on the third time. We don't have a token system or anything
Sure.
like that where we have this playbook that we can just open up to page 12 and it tells us what to do. So we take everything into account in that, and so. Based on the information we had, what happens across the world, and these mandatory minimum sentences, some of these cases are, all in or all out for some of the bad guy, the alleged bad guy. They're alleged to have done this. I'm not saying he's guilty or
Sure.
she is guilty of whatever. These are alleged. We put them in court. Now they've been charged with the crime. He's out on a $500 cash bond. But so the safety of our deputies is, goes first. Then the safety of the suspect and anybody in his house is second, and so on. So we went down, but the dangerousness of it, the mandatory minimums that go along with these images, make it more dangerous. It's kind of like fleeing an officer. I mean, if you'd have a driver's license and you run from the police, we try not to chase in those situations when we have cameras and we have video and we have certain things, and we try not to have high speed chases anymore.
Huh.
And so it's very difficult, and but that's where I get to come in. My chief deputy comes in, my captain comes in, and we talk about that. And we made the decision to use the SWAT team
Mhm.
because there were some unknowns. We didn't know these people. We didn't have any history on these people. We didn't know what they were, what their background was at all.
Mhm.
So it was interesting, and I'm glad we did it. And it all worked out. Everybody went home safe, and the
Mhm.
bad guy got arrested like was supposed to happen, and that's what we do. And
Mhm.
we've used the SWAT team already 5 times this year. Last year we only had 5 callouts all of last year, so we've used the SWAT team already. This is our 5th time already in the first 3 months of the year.
Why, or what would you was there a conscious decision, or was there a discussion about not like, hey, we need to start justifying this
No,
equipment, not that, but I mean, was there a conversation had at the end of the year or at some point over at the beginning of this year that maybe we should start utilizing our SWAT team a little bit more to make sure that our deputies are protected and everyone that is involved, including the alleged, are essentially protected as well? It sounds weird, but that's true, right? Uh,
right?
or was this? It's kind of random. We already have 5.
Yeah, no, it's strictly random. I mean, we never know how busy we're going to be. So, I mean, we could go the rest of the year without using the SWAT team. And that's, I mean, you look at, we've had 11, 5 in 2017. We only used the SWAT team once. And so it's just
Wow.
totally random on when we use it. High risk search warrants. We try to, our drug team tries to get people outside of their house, and a lot of things go into play if we're going to use the SWAT team on certain things. We used it on a high risk search warrant in Rusk County with somebody that they felt had a weapon. Again, then that's pretty easy to make that determination from an
Mhm.
administrator standpoint on using the SWAT team. We used it on a simultaneous search warrant. We needed to serve 2 simultaneous search warrants on a burglary case. We decided to use the SWAT team. Probably didn't need the SWAT team, but they're also trained in serving search warrants. We had to do them simultaneously. We needed bodies. We decided to use the SWAT team to serve them simultaneously. We had to do 2 search warrants
Mhm.
because we didn't want the one guy calling the other guy, say, hey, the cops are here, you go hide your stuff. And so we had to serve simultaneous search warrants. It's an easy way to get a lot of numbers. We've used the SWAT team to search in the wooded. They're trained. They have more training on working together, doing some different things, and just the tactics are different. But times have changed over the years for law enforcement, and some of the, again, judges and the rules get set forth on mandatory minimums of crimes. We always look at the crime itself too to make that determination on if we're going to use the SWAT team or not.
Yeah, can you speak? You brought up mandatory minimums a few times.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that a part of whether a SWAT team is going to get used or not? That one I don't understand.
Sure. Well, the bad guy knows if he gets caught with X, Y, or Z, and there's a mandatory minimum on X, Y, and Z, he knows the judge, if he's convicted, he's going to go to jail for, I think,
Okay.
3 years per image or whatever it is
Do
in
you
a child.
you really think people know that? Like,
Oh yeah,
okay, I'm in this case, child porn and alleged, right? But do you think people that in this specific case, not this specific case, but something like that, they're going, well, I've looked it up, and I know if I'm caught, I'm gonna and then sentenced and found guilty that I'm going to get minimum. Do you think the average person actually looks that up when they're committing crimes to see what their punishment is?
yeah. I don't think if you're an average person and you've done your first crime, no, I don't think you looked it up. But I think if you're trading images, you're looking at images on the computer, you're selling methamphetamine, you're doing this, you're going to know when you need to run from the cops and when you need to
Sure.
not run from the cops. These guys know, they talk to each other. And that's why it's very important, I think, from our justice standpoint or the justice system, to be tough on our drug crimes, because that stops people from selling drugs. When we send a person to federal prison for selling meth, it creates a ripple effect through the meth world, if you want to call it that, saying, holy cow, Jimmy just got sentenced to 10 years for selling meth. I'm going to be way more careful right now,
Yeah.
rather than going to jail for 6 months,
Yeah.
because of the weight or etc. So,
Sure.
yes, I think the bad guys do know exactly what they're doing. Now, if somebody gets drunk tonight and breaks vandalizes something, no, I don't think they think about that because
Wait, slow down. Before I do that, let me check the mandatory minimums on this crime. All right, I'm good.
so, yeah, so no, I don't think people think about the mandatory minimums, but when and some of these crimes get very sophisticated and using the internet and different things like that. So, it takes some skill both on our detective division and the people that we work with, the DCI and the FBI. So we've learned a lot about the technology advances of crime and trying to get away with things. And our job is to protect kids first, and the public second. It's the public, but we really go out to protect our kids, and we'll go full force to save our kids, whether it's drugs or images or sex trafficking or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to have those in our minds, and that's what, as administrators, we sit in this room before we make that decision to call out the SWAT team. And it was well thought out, well done, and well planned and well executed for the safety of our people and the safety of the people we're arresting.
I have two questions actually I wrote down about the SWAT team usage. But for anyone that is watching, if you have a question for Fitzy, certainly just put those in the comments. There's not much that he probably won't answer, except if it's like, well, no, I'm not going to bring that up. Never mind.
There's nothing.
No. I wanted to know, because I'm so ignorant on this stuff. How much money does it cost? Is there a set number or a ballpark where if I sign out the SWAT team, it's going to cost us this? And if so, is that this number? Is that over your budget, or is this budgeted in?
No, we have a budgeted line for SWAT. I don't know that we've ever gone over that budgeted line, and no, that's not taken into account. Don't get me wrong, it's in my mind as an administrator, but I never said to myself, oh geez, we shouldn't use the SWAT team, it's going to cost us $1,000, and we really, we can probably do it for 500. No, I'm never going to take the life of my people and put it on a number. And no one out there in Barron County would expect me to do that, and they probably wouldn't elect me if I started to do that. So we'll never put a number. It's not cheap to send out your SWAT team, but we have a budgeted line for SWAT team. And like I said, in my 13 years, I don't know that we've ever, even though the years we had 11 call-outs, some of those people are on duty, some get called in. There's no set number. It costs like $3,000 to send the SWAT team home because it depends on how many people come.
Okay.
We're combined with Rusk County, and when Rusk County comes over, we don't pay for that. Rusk County pays for that. So it's actually a joint SWAT team, which benefits both counties by not having the full amount of a SWAT team on any county budget or any tax purposes. So there's no dollar amount that we put on it.
Have you ever had a county board supervisor or your law enforcement committee or anyone say, Fitz, you got to slow down here with the SWAT stuff?
No.
Or question what you are requesting for a budget item for the SWAT team? Or have you gotten universal support on that?
Universal support.
Awesome.
It's officer safety. It's easy. Even when we purchased the armored vehicle, and the militarization of police is out there, no one questioned that. We budgeted for that. We made the decision to do that to make sure our people go home safe. And no one has ever questioned that, and will not in the Barron County area. I'm not saying if we went out and bought two of them, they wouldn't question that, but everybody knows we're operating at the minimum. We're operating at, what we feel is safe. We don't have, 25 guns for 10 people. Everybody doesn't have two guns, things like that. We're operating at what we feel is safe. And we get all the right tools to make sure our people go home.
Do you, on that militarization of the police, I've heard that before. I've never really seen or had anyone really give me a great example of what that was, with the exception of maybe, you're right, I think Washburn County Dad, before he retired, they got a couple of Humvees or something. You got them for pretty much free. You just had to go down and get them and some basic repairs. And there's some people that didn't like the look of image of that, but I've never understood that, because it just seems like this is something that will help keep our officers safe when we have to go on these high-risk calls. Has someone approached you, social media, email, phone call, or in person, and brought up militarization of police and they shared their concerns with you? And if so, how did you respond to that?
Sure. I get asked that because I take our armored vehicle and take that to show off at maybe National Night Out or different places. We have a big truck show at the library. We take it, with the dump truck and the garbage truck, and we bring our armored vehicle, and we let kids see it, touch it. They think it's cool. And somebody said to me, that's, we shouldn't be showing kids the tools we have. And I'm like, well, the tools we have aren't secret. We're not. It's everybody can see this thing driving around. We're an open book at the sheriff's department. Now, some of our tactics we're not teaching our kids, and we're showing people our tactics. And
Right.
and people have said, well, we did a training where we approached a school bus in case there was a hostage situation on a school bus, and we did some school bus work over in Rusk County a couple months ago, and we took some pictures of the training and put it on Facebook. And somebody said, you shouldn't show people your tactics. I'm like, all it is us looking at working on a school bus. We didn't
Right.
give our tactics away. People driving by, it's not a secret thing that we're doing. If you look up tactics on the internet, you can find tactics on everything out there. So nothing we do is secret, but we do train and do that. So, but somebody did say, you shouldn't show this to kids. And I said, no, this is just not scare kids, because we may have to come and say there's a shooter next to your house, and that's a hostage situation, and we need to come and evacuate your house to make sure Ben's family is safe. So we roll up in this big armored vehicle. These guys get out with this helmet on and these guns and a shield, and we want to get you into armored vehicle to separate you, because that's what we use the armored vehicle for, to evacuate the house next to yours, or evacuate your house when your neighbor, has a gun and shooting in the air.
Sure.
We'll evacuate you. So that just helps our kids realize that we're good guys. And that goes back to that community policing model. Thought it out, realize that, yes, this looks, we don't really need this. We've only used it 5 times a year. Hopefully we never use our armored vehicle. But it's there, and it has it to keep you safe, because we want to evacuate you and your family out of your house when your neighbor's going crazy. So that's what we use it for. Things like that.
All right. You are watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by ICAA. ICAA is your local social service organization that works together with individuals, families, and the community to create and support local solutions for local needs. The goal is to help remove barriers so people can access resources, education, and services to increase financial security. For a full list of services, find them on Facebook or check them out on their website at indianheadcaa.org. One last thing on this SWAT topic here. Or I'm sorry, I think I put up coming from Mary Hills. Yeah, we put that back up. All right, what do you think about that?
Well, and in some cases they do, but in a lot of cases we can't bill them for hours. In certain cases we can, in those cases we can't. I wish we could, but that's part of your taxes, and people paying taxes can't be double dipped. And I think they should, but
Yeah.
we can't bill them for the use of our SWAT team. There's some cases when you can. There's some cases, when we use undercover buy money and do drug buys, we can get some of that money returned. Some of it you can't. There's laws put in place to do that, so that we just don't use our SWAT team and then bill somebody for using it. It has to. There's certain times we can do that, but for the most part, no, we don't get that back. Yeah,
Okay.
I agree. We probably should, but
Right.
we
Here's a
can't.
question from Chuck. Is it true that the cost of the military surplus you purchase just the transportation of the item?
In some cases, it can be. If we buy military surplus, that is called a 1033 program, and we do get some and very cheap items. Like our armored vehicle, we didn't buy from a military surplus. We bought it from another department. So, but they sold it to us at a very reasonable cost, in my opinion. And so, but yeah, military surplus is really sometimes just transportation and fixing it.
No. The other question I'd written down regarding the SWAT thing, when you're using those, and this is probably not, I would assume this isn't the reason to do it, but looking at the positives and looking at the benefits, maybe even the indirect benefits, you do a lot of training. SWAT team does a lot of training, but there's something to be said for real life applications here, real life scenarios. Is that kind of, again, that's not really the reason that we do it, because again, it does cost money. However, man, this helps out so much when we have not just an active shooter type situation, we're using it for other things, because we never know when we're going to actually need that stuff. And let's face it, when you do something like you and I do the show, when it's live, if we recorded it, and I've done that before, it's a different feeling. When you're doing something live, man, you can practice, you can rehearse, but if you can edit everything later, But man, when you're doing it live, it's a different feeling. And I don't know, is that something that they benefit from?
Oh, definitely the real life application on anything. It's no different than high school football practice, and when it's in the game,
Oh,
it's a lot
right,
different feel.
right.
That it's just like that. So, and we know that we're probably throughout the year between Rusk and Barron County, we're probably going to have a high risk search warrant for some drugs because drugs usually equals guns, and there's usually guns involved. So we normally know that we're going to get called out a few times just for drug search warrants, which gives us some real life application. Um, but we do train for that, and they're glad when we don't have to use it, but they're also glad when we get to do something and use some of the things that they do
Yeah.
train on. So it's that's kind of that you know the feeling of it. But yeah, it's different than practicing all week and then going into the game and kicking the field goal.
Yeah.
It's easier. Your teammates don't rush you as fast as they would the other team's gonna. So
Mm.
it's nice to have that game time feeling for that. But we're always ready for the Friday night game, and that's how we look at it every day in law enforcement. And so we're
Yeah.
we're ready to go and good to go on it.
Well, I mean, the SWAT team, I mean, first of all, you know me, I have so much respect for law enforcement anyway, for 1,000 reasons. But SWAT team, that takes it to another level for me.
Yeah,
Because last I checked, you're not assigned the SWAT team, right? It's not like,
right.
okay, you can be the teacher for this school, but you also have to be the volleyball coach. I mean, if you want the job, you got to do the other one too. I don't think it really works that way. So the
Right.
people that volunteer to be a part of this, I mean, talk about putting yourself, wow, in
Right.
I don't know if it's accurate to say in harm's way, but man, these are, uh, man, those got to be some tough calls to go out on and to volunteer. It's like firefighters. Like, what? I don't
Right.
get how firefighters' brains work. Like,
Right.
I think I'm just going to go and do this to save people's lives. And yeah, there's a good chance I could die. Why are you doing this? I'm so thankful that they do it because
Right.
I don't want to do that stuff. But SWAT team members, man, yeah, they're legit.
Right. And that's why volunteer firefighters are so unique. I mean, because you're right, they're not. They just worked all day at the bank and now
I know
they're going
it.
home and they're like, oh, the fire bell went off. Let's go
Yeah,
rush into the fire. I mean,
I
that's not
know.
even a full time job. I get cops, we signed up for this, but
Yeah.
I'm a banker, I'm a whatever, and now I'm going to fight a fire. And
Oh,
that's why our volunteer fire departments across the counties, yours and mine, are such a big deal to us. I mean, they're the real deal, and when we need them, they're there. It's great, and it's not so much fighting fires; it's car accidents that they save people at, more than it is probably fighting fires. So
mm,
it's our volunteer firefighters that a big shout out to them.
yeah. Anything else you want to discuss on the SWAT thing? Because that kind of end up, we didn't have a ton of questions here, so that
Right.
kind of ended up kind of dominating our time, which is perfectly fine. We didn't have anything really other specific to talk about. Anything else you want to wrap up about the SWAT thing?
No, I think we're good on that.
All right, cool.
I'm just glad it all turned out and more
Yeah,
available and need be, and we love to show off our equipment, and
yeah,
we'll keep doing that.
yeah. If you need an extra, I got. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I got my Jeep back last Friday
Okay.
after a month and a half of it being gone.
Yeah.
Got all the repairs fixed on it in the frame, so it's available. If you need an extra vehicle for SWAT,
Okay.
you just call me and I can drive down. I've got a nice light bar. If you can authorize me to have some red and blue lights,
Uh-huh.
I can transport people. I'm not like going to go into a house or anything. And don't give me a gun because I hate guns. But I can transport stuff. I just want the cool lights.
All right. I'll put that on my list. I'm sure if we need you, we'll call you.
Oh, okay. All right. That's good. that's
Don't worry,
that's a better
people.
response than I thought I was going to get.
You just wait by your phone. We'll call.
Okay. Well, I don't know. They never call. Oh.
No
Um,
crime.
Anything else you want to chat about? Anything else you want to talk about? Obviously, there's a COVID numbers seem to be going down in terms of new cases, vaccines. Of course, those numbers are I think going very well in terms of more needles in more people's arms, more shots in arms, not needles. Um, yeah, is there anything you want to touch on there?
Sure. We had a drive-in clinic on Friday, and then I see Brittany from UW Eau Claire and Barron County, came and got her shot. And we took a picture, and so we had 240 people we gave shots to on Friday. So we're continuing to increase the number of vaccinations. The
Awesome.
CDC came out yesterday and said if you're vaccinated and your family's vaccinated, you don't have to wear masks, you don't have to social distance. So the vaccinations are really, as we learn more every day about our vaccinations, not getting into it, and we're not going to get into that discussion if you want to get vaccinated or not. I'm just telling you what the CDC said yesterday
Yeah.
that we're following. So, you'll see, hopefully we'll see less masks. Hopefully the mask thing will be done very shortly. We won't have to ever talk about that again. But, we're seeing a lot more vaccinations, which is a good thing. We're seeing our numbers go down, which is a good thing. So we're on the tail end of this, and we can quit, even keeping track of the numbers and doing all that. And I think
Yeah.
that's a discussion that some of these groups will start to have as, maybe we'll just print the numbers once a week instead of daily.
I know that's what I'm looking forward to that. It's just because the total confirmed and the new cases and the active cases and the recovery, they're not really changing that much, but it's the vaccines. That's why I want to keep doing those, our daily numbers. But yeah, I really will just want to go down to like twice a week, like Monday and Friday or something.
Yeah.
And speaking of masks, I did actually see a story last Friday that Evers said that he was going to extend the mask order when this one currently expired. So I don't know if we're going to be seeing the ending of masks anytime soon. But on that note, I forgot to tell you, I was talking to Representative Dave Armstrong down in your area in Barron County and last weekend. And he had said he forgot to tell me a few weeks before he had a phone conversation with Governor Evers. And it was a welcoming, because he's new to the assembly.
He's new.
Yep. So it was which I thought was very gracious and very, I thought it was pretty cool of the governor to do. And when they were talking, Dave told me that the governor told him, I feel like I know a lot about you already because I saw your 15 things about me on the Dryden Report. I'm like, well, you got one of the words right. So he at least is aware. So I don't know. Maybe he will come on for a Positive Tuesday show sometime.
We hope so. Just looking at a couple things here, I see Greg Schaefer is watching. Greg is a Burnett County deputy, a former Cumberland officer. He was just awarded the Officer of the Year last night. So congratulations,
What?
Greg. Yeah, for Burnett County, Officer of the Year for Burnett County. Greg, is from Cumberland. Greg was a big part of our Shop with the Cop here in Barron County. So congratulations, Greg.
Nice, Greg.
Hope he's still watching, and I think that's cool that he got that award. He's new to Burnett County and did a lot of work to start up their own Shop with the Cop program and does a lot of work out there for them. Yeah. So congratulations to Greg Schaefer.
Yeah, Tracy did a great job of just poaching all of really good officers and deputies from other areas to fill all the spots in Burnett County.
I just didn't have one, or we would have probably poached him too. So he's lucky that it was timing. Otherwise, But the sheriff's department get that. We get the opportunity to poach a little bit more than PDs do. So I know some of the chiefs don't like that, but we all get along good, and we're all sharing. So what can be done to slow the traffic down on 27th Street? And
I don't know where that is. So
that's up by V&M. That would be probably in consideration with the Amish buggy crash, and some more will come out on that probably later this week. We've been up there doing some enforcement of both the V&M stop sign and the speed on that road. We've issued some citations. We're working on that project. I went to the town board meeting last night in Oak Grove to talk about safety. We're going to make sure, that we've met with the Amish a couple times and they all have proper lighting. They're properly riding on the road. So we're working on that. So we're working on that project. There's a lot of education that needs to happen, and we'll be able to talk more about that in a couple weeks on this show. Okay. And because we'll have some closure on that, I believe, that case coming up.
Okay. His question here is the Shop with the Cop only at certain times?
Yeah, it's always during the Christmas time, the month of December. You'll see some things. We're looking, the Barron County Fair is on. We're probably going to have our Donut Dash, which is our Donut Dash Run, which all the money for our Donut Dash goes to Shop with the Cop here in Barron County. So you'll start to see some fundraisers coming back. So save some of that stimulus money for some of our nonprofits across the world. And, we're pretty excited about bringing one just to come back and see people. But we're pretty excited about that and all the money raised at our race. It's a 3-mile race. You get to eat donuts in the middle and donuts at the end. I mean, it's awesome. It's pretty fun. And it always happens on the Saturday of our Barron County Fair. You go along the lake, come back, you get a free admission into the fair that day. You get donuts. I mean, what better way to celebrate a Saturday morning?
What better way to go for a walk than eating donuts?
Eating donuts. And they're good donuts too. So Now I'm hungry, so now I got to go to the bakery.
All right. Anything
Yeah,
else you wanted to bring up? Anything else you wanted to touch on?
I don't think so. Everybody, when it gets warmer, the speeds go up. We're seeing speeds increase. People just start paying
Oh,
attention to the
right.
sun and not their speedometer. So we're doing a lot of traffic enforcement this week. Um, so we want everybody to slow down a little bit, be safe, enjoy the warm weather. Be careful with the lakes. I mean, the shoreline's gotten really soft, so we haven't had anybody go through the lakes, but be really careful of that. It's probably going to rain tomorrow, it looks like, with the warm weather, so the snow should go away. So just be careful out there, have fun, and go make a difference today. And that's what everybody's trying. Ann Gallagher, she does some great things. She's pretty awesome. Um, and she just did, I don't know, what did I see her doing something? She's always doing something. She's with Cole's Cares. She's a big member of that, the Elks Club in Race Lake.
Oh, nice.
She's always doing somebody for a nonprofit or something for a
Oh,
nonprofit out there. So thanks, Ann, for all your work with all helping out and using Cole's to help out all of our nonprofits. So we
awesome.
appreciate that. So
Awesome. Well, you and I are off next Tuesday for our schedule. We've been trying to take I think it's the third
third Tuesday,
Tuesday off right of the month, unless you have SWAT team things getting called out.
yeah,
So
that's the
aside
SWAT
from,
team comes out. Yeah,
right, exactly. So that's when my mom's Diane's Kitchen show will be on. So, Fitzy, thanks so much. We'll talk in a couple of weeks, huh?
sounds good.
For Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald, I'm Ben Dryden, and you've been watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by ICAA. ICAA is your local social service organization that works together with individuals, families, and the community to create and support local solutions for local needs. Their goal is to help remove barriers so people can access resources, education, and services to increase financial security. For a full list of services, find them on Facebook or check them out on their website at indianheadcaa.org. Hold on, I just want to quick throw those up there, Jody and Ann. So Fitzy and I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Remember, next Tuesday will be Mom's Diane's Kitchen Show. So until then, stay safe, stay positive. How about that?
Yeah.
And have a blessed day. See you, Fitzy.